Hey y'all.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It is April 14th, so it's the day after the Ecuador elections, and Daniel Noboa won about 56 to 44. Yeah, 56, 44, 45-ish. Pretty big victory. Initially, Luisa called for a recount. She felt like there's some irregularities going on with the election. I know some people in her party don't really agree, and they were like, basically, let it go. We'll see how that pans out. I know we mentioned before, or I've definitely mentioned before, that we didn't really have a stake in this one way or another. Obviously, if one party had decided to go away from the dollar, that would have affected us, financially a bit, but not to the point where we would have to leave or anything like that. Yeah, it was just interesting during the whole campaign. We saw a lot of campaigning.
Yes.
And it is very, from the street view, from the street level, from our personal view, it seemed very polarized. Like you loved one candidate and hated the other, or vice versa. Not like, oh, I don't really care. No one had no opinion that we could tell. So, like we said, Noboa won, and we've had some mixed feelings about maybe the direction that Noboa is going with some of the involvement with the United States. I'm not saying it's all bad, but just that we don't know if it will necessarily be a true benefit to Ecuador with some of the interactions that are going on with, like, Eric Prince coming here to do some mercenary work, basically, and dealing with the U.S. government. We don't know where that's going to go.
Right, because that can be a little concerning when it comes to Ecuadorians, and collateral damage doesn't seem to be a factor in his mercenary skills.
I can't get down with Eric Prince being in anybody's country, honestly. So that's just my opinion. And so I know what he did in the Middle East and what he's been trying to do. So I just don't think it's someone that Ecuador should deal with. There's other people you can find if you need help with security services or whatever. Don't deal with that guy. That's just my opinion. But like we said, as far as the election, kind of glad it's over. Just like any big election, we're glad it's over, glad it's out of the way, barring some kind of recount madness or whatever. I don't know what the sentiment would be, because we know people who were really on the side of Luisa and people who were really on the side of Noboa. We don't know. Everyone's opinions are different, so we don't know how certain people, depending on which party they support, feel about Americans being here, living here. Tourism, I'm sure nobody really has a problem with tourism. It just brings money. But as far as foreigners living here, we don't know how some Ecuadorians may actually feel about that.
Yeah, because we kind of increase costs, the living costs, and it's not really affordable for them if we're coming in and just paying the higher cost to live in certain areas. It raises the cost for them, and it pushes them out if they can't afford to live in that area anymore, because there's a lot of expats living in that area, raising the cost. So that can be concerning. It would be concerning to me if I was a native to this country and I was paying a certain amount, and now the area is being, a lot of expats are migrating to that area, causing the cost to go up. So I would probably be a little
salty about that.
Yeah.
So we understand. We couldn't really be mad at anyone we couldn't be mad at any Ecuadorians who are fine with foreign tourists, but not really okay with foreigners just coming buying up everything. That. This was happening in Spain, and it makes sense. It couldn't be mad at anybody for not really liking that situation. Yeah, like we said, we don't really know what this actually means.
We just have to wait.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait and see. Hopefully, honestly, hopefully it just works out for the country. Hopefully it works out for everyone. Everyone benefits from whoever's in office. That is the main goal. From anytime anyone had a discussion with us about the candidates, our answer was usually whoever's better for the country. Whoever the country votes for, that's who, we got to say, okay, well, that's what the people want.
Yeah.
Even if it was somebody that doesn't want us here, like, that's what the people want. That's all we can really go with. You can't say, like, oh, man, Louisa should have won. What? Why? We didn't vote. So, like, it doesn't even matter.
Some of us are here temporarily. If it goes left, we can pack up and leave.
Yeah.
We don't have to stay here. Now, there are some people here that are citizens, permanent residents, and, sometimes you have to weather out the storm to see the other side. And maybe the other side may be a rainbow, or it could be a newest...
Instead of a pot of gold, pot of crap.
But it could be, good or bad. So we'll just have to wait and see.
So what we also want to know is, in the comments, leave us a comment. If you are on one side or the other, I'd like to know why. We pretty much explained our side of this. We really don't have any explanation. We don't really have any, like, oh, we wanted one or the other. It was whoever the people wanted. But I do want to know, especially if you're Ecuadorian or someone who lives here, what did you want? What did you expect? And was the result, are you satisfied with the result? Also, were there certain campaign like promises or things that came out during the campaign that either turned you away from a candidate or pushed you towards them? Because, like, I know one big thing was the whole dollarization and questioning dollarization, not necessarily saying that they're going to go back to the Ecuador or anything like that. I forgot what it was called. Just the whole question about it and how it really turned a lot of people away from Louisa. Even, like I said, I don't think she explicitly said that she was going to try to go away from it.
I think, didn't you say you saw a clip where she said that's not what she wanted to do?
Right, like it was political ads, but like political ads can be kind of weird.
But it just seemed like it was
just the thought of it. Like,
right, it had been going on for so long, she never said anything before now.
That story was able to take root before she was able to jump on it and try to say, like, no, it's not what I'm trying to do.
I think maybe had she jumped on it before and said, no, that's not something I'm looking to do, maybe
I helped her a little.
Right.
Yeah.
Could have persuaded people to see that, no, that's not what she wanted to do.
When I talked to Ace a couple weeks ago, GM Ace, and we were talking about that very subject, and, he was saying, amongst him and his Ecuadorian friends, he doesn't know anyone, not one person, that agreed with de-dollarization. And he was like, that was a huge turnoff for a lot of people. I can't say that's the reason, that she lost or anything, but if someone says, hey, look, no one I know agrees with this, and that might not be the thing you want to campaign on. And not saying she was campaigning on it, but once that idea is out there, because I saw a few political ads just on YouTube,
right,
from Noboa side, and they were talking about that she's pushing for de-dollarization. And then I saw a counter ad saying that she's not pushing for de-dollarization. But by then, like, the damage was done. Yeah,
as soon as that comes out, you got to nip that in the bud and say, no, that is not what I'm...
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't speak enough Spanish to watch the debate. So I'm not sure if that was really discussed during the debate or not. Correct me there if anybody knows. So, yeah, what do y'all think? Do you think this is the right direction? I will say this. I think there are a combination of things that could have been done between both candidates. Where, like, there are things that Noboa's doing that I don't agree with and things that I do agree with. And things Louisa was saying that I do agree with and don't agree with. I think they would have had, like... There's a middle ground there where, like, you combine the things that, like, are agreeable for both of them. That would have been perfect. But I think they were just kind of too far apart on certain things. And then, like, the whole stigma of, like, the charisma, I can't say it. But the party of Louisa.
You talking about Korea?
The charisma party. Okay. So, the People's Liberty Party, I forgot what it's called. But anyway, there's like a stigma about, like, corruption with that party, and there's probably corruption with Noboa too. But anyway, people assume that party's kind of corrupt already, and I don't think they've done enough to try to nip that in the bud either.
You trying to separate themselves
from corruption, yeah. So there's a lot. We want to know what y'all think, and let you know that hey, we're still here. It didn't matter who was going to win. We weren't going to just leave. So.
And we'll just wait. I mean, it takes time for the change. Like we always say, it takes time for change to happen. So we're gonna stick around and see.
Yeah.
And until then,
like the video, share it, subscribe if you aren't already, and we'll be back soon.
Bye.
Bye.